Welcome to another Ziva Math video. In this video, we're going to be solving percent of a number problems. You can use a proportion to find percentages as we've shown in previous videos. It may be more useful with percent of a number problems to find the percent, the part, or the whole using an equation. So if you have a question such as what is 20% of 50, we can begin rephrasing that. We have 20% of 50 is that unknown, our variable. To use an equation, you're going to take the percent and you're going to turn it into a decimal. So 20% will use 2/10. So 20% of 50, that's times 50, is x, which will be equals x. Let's take a look at how this works with some examples. Let's start with an example where we're finding the part. 15% of 50 is what number? You can also see this phrased as what number is 15% of 50. And if we start by rephrasing it, 15% of 50 is what number? Is that unknown that we're looking for, is our variable. And to put this in an equation to solve, our 15% needs to be a decimal. To turn a percent into a decimal, you take the decimal and you move it 2 places to the left. So 15% is equal to 15 hundredths. So we'll have 15 hundredths of 50. Of 50 means to multiply. So 15 hundredths times 50 is x. And is x is equal x. So the equation that we'll be solving is 15 hundredths times 50 equals x. So we are just multiplying. 15 hundredths times 50. Well, 0 times 15 is 0. Then we have 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 more is 7. And we add, and we get 750. Now we do need to place our decimal. In the problem, we had 2 places behind the decimal, so in our answer, we need to move our decimal 2 places as well. So x is equal to 7 and 5/10. So 15% of 50 is 7 and 5/10. In this example, we'll be using an equation to find the whole. 45 is 30% of what number? So we have 45 is, so 45 equals 30% of what number? So that's our unknown. That's where our variable is going to go. So times x. And the first thing we do need to do is turn our 30% into a decimal. To do that, we take the decimal point and we move it 2 places to the left. So 30% is equal to 30 hundredths, and we can just use 3/10. Now, on the right-hand side of our equation, we have 3/10 times x. So the equation that we're going to be solving is 45 equals 3/10 x. And this is a one-step equation. We need to solve for x. And to solve for x, we're going to divide both sides by 3/10. And I'm going to go out to the side to do that. So I have 45 divided by 3/10. I need to move that decimal point in my divisor over one place. And if I move it one place in my divisor, I also need to move the decimal point one place in my dividend. So now I'm going to rewrite this division part to be 450 divided by 3 so I can clearly see what numbers I'm dividing. Well, 4 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. When I subtract, I get 1. I'm bringing down the 5. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 5 times 3 is 15. When I subtract, I get 0, but there is still another digit in my dividend, so I need to bring that 0 down. And then because I brought a number down, I do need to divide. 0 divided by 3 is 0. 0 times 3 is 0. When I subtract, I get 0. So we have x equals 150. 45 is 30% of 150. In this example, we'll be finding the percent. 16 is what percent of 40? So 16 is what percent? We don't know the percent. That's our unknown. That will be represented by our variable. So 16 is X percent of 40. So to turn this into an equation, we'll have 16 is X. So 16 equals X of 40 tells us to multiply by 40. So the equation that we'll be solving is 16 equals 40x. And to solve this one-step equation, to solve for x, we'll be dividing both sides by 40. So I'm going to go off to the side to do my division steps. I'll have 16 divided by 40. I'll need to add a decimal point and a 0, so I can do 160 divided by 40. And my first step will be to bring that decimal point straight up. Now I have 160 divided by 40, which is 4. 4 times 40 is 160, and when I subtract, I get 0. So x equals 4 tenths, but I don't need x equals 4 tenths. I need that 4 tenths in a percent. So to turn a decimal into a percent, we take the decimal point and we move it 2 places to the right. When I move the decimal in 4 tenths 2 places to the right, I need to add a 0. So x equals 40%. So 16 is 40% of 40. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to Ziva Math for more videos.